I also want to pass around the final report. It's very important once you get accepted to college to make sure that you keep your grades. You actually get a conditional acceptance letter, which means that your acceptance is contingent upon successful completion of the academic school year. So I don't know, Mike, if you've seen any situations, can you elaborate on them
Sure.
as I pass around the final report, please?
So basically, when you're a senior in high school, you might be admitted to a college in
One
December,
second.
in January, and obviously they don't have a full year. They only have what they have so far, which could be 3 full years and a half year, or maybe just 3 full years, and your courses for senior year. So it's very important that your mid-year grades in January are very strong. Then in June, your final year grades are very strong. Why? When a college admits you, the letter will say, we expect you to maintain the same academic excellence that got you into here to begin with. And then what happens is this. Let's say your grades dip a little bit. You might see some kind of warning letter that says, we saw what happened, we noticed, we're watching after you.
You're on alert.
You're on alert. Then you might have something
Facebook.
called, I'll talk about Facebook in a second.
Yes.
Then you might have something, then I'll talk about something called probationary letter. What does that mean? That's the next level. Let's say
It
your
means your
grades
parents will
really
kill
went
you.
down. Colleges might say, you're still admitted, but in your first year, if you don't reach a 3.0 GPA, you're out of here. That's probation. There's a condition. And then the worst is if they rescind your offer of admission, which means, sorry, you have to cancel your offer of admission, good luck finding another place. Now you're in June of your senior year, where do you look? So that's why it's really important to maintain grades. Another reason to maintain strong grades in your senior year is some of you might transfer from one college to another. And if you're transferring during your freshman year of college for a sophomore year, they're going to look at your high school transcript. And if they see a significant dip in your senior year, they might be a little bit concerned about you. It's also important to do well senior year because of insurance. So those of you who want to drive one day, they look at grades. It's a factor.
You do, you get a discount.
Yeah. So good grades give you a discount with auto insurance. And also if you're applying for certain scholarships, it's important to have good grades. Now, I said Facebook. Why did I bring up Facebook? For some reason, the kids in the school where I work think they find me on Facebook, fine, I accept their friendship, it's fine, I have nothing to hide. But I see theirs, and there's some pictures there that shouldn't be there. It's not cool to do a bond and put it on the internet. You're saying something about yourself when you do that. You're saying, please look at me, I need attention. And even if it's illegal, just please look at me. Don't do it, it's not worth it. Or pictures of you drinking alcohol when you're
Yes.
underage. Again, you're screaming,
Prom
please
night.
look at me.
The prom
That's
limo's
great.
not invisible, by the way. It's actually a big white thing, so it goes down the street and the cops know it's prom. So be aware that that's actually what happens if the night of prom, which is usually after graduation date, you're found and liquor is confiscated from your prom limousine. What happens that night? A fax will go directly to your college, and you're gonna have to answer them. I mean, it's illegal, so. Anybody want to get arrested that night? Just checking.
In addition to Facebook, blogs are important. We actually, when I was working at NYU, had to rescind someone's offer of admission who was also admitted to a scholar program because one of our counselors decided to look up his name on the internet, saw he had a blog, and he had all this racist propaganda all over his blog. We confirmed it was his. We said, you don't belong on a campus like NYU. It's not the right place for you.
How did you look that person up?
Google.
Mhm.
Google the
Google
person's
the
name,
blog.
and that person had a blog. Yeah. So college admissions people like to ask, do they actually do it? Well, you never know one day. If they're in a lunch hour, they want 10 minutes away from your applications. They just look up the names of all the applicants that are that day. This happens, by the way. So it's actually very possible to find you on Facebook just through different links, through different people, different connections.
Using a different name's not enough.
Right.
You're connected through friends.
Mm-hmm. So I definitely recommend you have kosher Facebook pages, I guess you could say. That's important.
I'll go through all of them.
Actually, I tell my kids, same thing Francis does, that when you're in SAT, when Kweller Prep does this in
We
Genius,
remove.
when you're in SAT prep and you're doing a few hours of test prep this night or that night, not only should you shut off Facebook, shut off your cell phones for a few hours. It's okay, life will go on, I promise. Generations and generations lived on without cell phones. Shut off your cell phones, shut off the TV, shut off your Facebook, shut off the computer, just focus on what you need to do. Once you have that work ethic for test prep, you'll also carry that over to college. A big issue with college, someone mentioned there's a lot of work, is time management. How do I go from having a structured day of 8 to 3 or 8 to 2:30, whatever your school day is, and then only have a class from 9 to 10:30 and 1 to 2:30? How do I do that? What am I supposed to do the rest of the day?
We offer continuous learning.
Do you? That's
We
good.
do.
So the answer is, every class you have, let's say you have an hour and a half of class, you have to do 3 hours of homework for that class. Double the amount of work for each class session. Whether that's reading the chapter for the lecture, whether it is reviewing your notes, whether it is, getting some kind of tutorial support, you have to do double the amount of work for each class. Even though it seems like the rest of your day you're free, there's a lot more class to take care of in addition to that lecture. So that's important to think about. Also with college, a big issue for a lot of kids is not only balancing your time, but balancing the budget. So it's very tempting to just not eat in the meal plan anymore because you're sick of the dining food. And you go to this restaurant, you go to that restaurant, you go to that movie theater, you go to that stadium, you go to that theater show. There's a lot of temptations out there. There's a lot of things to do, and you might be on your own for the first time. So a big issue for a lot of kids is managing finances.
Credit cards.
Credit card debt is not a good thing to have. Have you guys heard of freshman 15? Is that? What do you think that means?
15 pounds.
The average freshman might gain 15 pounds their freshman year of college. Why do you think that is?
They eat at abnormal hours.
Eat in normal hours, good.
Really bad food.
Yes. So you're having dining food, all you can eat at midnight. You go to bed right after. You keep on doing that throughout the year, it's going to add an unhealthy lifestyle. So for a lot of freshmen in college, the adjustment's like, oh, mom's not telling me that I can't eat pizza right now. And mom's not telling me I can't have 3 cups of Coke a day. So for a lot of kids, there is an adjustment to that. So a big part of the college transition isn't just academic, it's not just social, it's actual health. Now what about social? Most important way to integrate yourself into a college is find a community of some sort. People need community. People crave friendship. People crave connections. So your community might be a religious organization. It might be some kind of extracurricular activity. It could be an intramural sport, if not a varsity sport. It could be theater. Even though if you're not a theater major, you must find a community right away. Very important. Because you're going to have an academic community in your smaller classes. You will have a housing community on your floor. That can be superficial. It's really once you make connections with people and you have those common interests, they'll really start loving you college.
My entire friend base is from the extracurricular activity that I was involved with. So I didn't make friends. Did you make friends in classes? It's very...
The friends I made in classes lasted that semester. And then they're like, okay, next class, next semester. Like,
Common interest.
the best is common interest. So it's interesting, just so you know, when you go to college, my colleague at SAR High School always tells people who are, still finding themselves, she goes, I have a secret to tell you. When everyone comes home on Thanksgiving and they all talk about how much they love college, they're all lying. Now why does she say that? Because first semester freshman year, you might think you're the only person who hasn't found themselves, and everyone seems so happy and everyone's smiling, and why am I still unsure of myself? Totally normal. It's okay. But the best way to adjust to college is find a community. And make sure that community is something that's meaningful to you and not just something because it seems cool on paper. It's something that really carries weight and you want to get involved with it in a team leadership position in that. Other college advice I can give, I'm trying to think. Make yourself independent. Even if you're going to college 10 miles away, don't come home for laundry every 3 days if you're not living at home. Eventually at some point you have to cut the cord. So
Your parent relationships get a lot better in college, actually. Can I comment on that?
Yeah,
Is that
sure.
okay?
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting, this Kweller, because second semester senior year, a lot of you kids are going to go through this, a lot of parents will definitely go through this. Kids are going to act out second semester senior year, it happens. And the reason why is, kids, I'm block your ears for a second, but kids are going to miss you. And their way of adjusting to missing you, this is psychology speaking, not me, is by start acting out and kind of breaking apart the relationship a little bit. So you're going to see second semester seniors talking back, talking back and being nasty, and you wonder what's going on here. And it's almost their way of saying, I love you, I'm going to miss you. So be on the alert for that. Parents, kids, I'm telling you this so that you don't kill your parents too much, don't give them a hard time. They're helping you out a lot.
And for parents, advice only, because I work with a lot of families. The son goes through a lot of families. Every single 17-year-old child will hate the parents. It's okay, it's normal, it's allowed, no problem. Just get them to